Hello everyone, my name is Richard Kaniho. I'm the owner-operator of Pu'uhuluhulu Ranch Farm. We're located on the southeast flank of Mauna between Mauna and Mauna Loa. We're a cattle ranching operation, and I raise these cattle along with my wife June and my 3 sons and my cousin Kalani Kaniho.
One of my best friends for as long as I can remember is Caleb Kaniho. From Little League baseball to soccer to sitting around playing video games. We're basically 2 peas in a pod. I always knew the Kaniho family owned the ranch but never fully understood what that meant. Until now. It was until starting Pā'ina by ocean that our worlds collided in the best way. So when Caleb's dad, Uncle Rich, invited me and my family to Pu'uhuluhulu Ranch, it was an opportunity that we wouldn't miss. So thank you, Uncle, for having us here at your beautiful ranch right on the base of Mauna Kea. So can you tell us a little more about it?
We are right now located on the southeast side in a paddock that we refer to as Sunny Paddock, and it's named after my cousin who I partner with. It's named after his dad, Sonny Kaniho. And then the other paddock is named Willie Paddock. The Sunny Paddock's about 1,000 acres, and then the Willie Paddock is about 2,000 acres. Our ranch that we named after the Pu'u that's at the base of the access road, Pu'uhuluhulu. Literal translation is the hill with the hair, or the hill with the fuzz. But the farming aspect for Pu'uhuluhulu is a couple of things. Foremost, to be a successful cattle producer, you must be able to first farm grass. So we incorporate the name farming because we got to be successful at growing grass before we can grow cattle. And then, second of all, where we are located, as you can see right here, we're in the middle of some of the nicest upland forest, the native forest, Hawaiian flora and fauna. So we have that aspect of taking care of the native plants that provide in many different ways. So that's where that farming aspect comes from too, is our stewardship of the native flora and fauna that exists up here on the mountain.
So what are the challenges of being a rancher here on the Big Island, and more specifically here on top of Mauna Kea?
Being a rancher on the Big Island is that we're so diverse, meaning that we're spread out amongst all kinds of different country and terrain. I think the other challenge being on the Big Island is that we're not as close for shipping purposes like those that might exist on Kauai or Oahu. So our cattle will have to stay in that process a little longer. As far as some of the challenges just right here on island, number one, we're way up high. So we start off at about the 6,500 foot elevation. We go up to about 7,000 feet and back down to about 5,000 feet in just about 3 or 4 miles of area that we ranch. Big change. So the biggest problem when you're up that high is water. We don't have running water. You can't just run over there and turn a pipe on and get water to your cattle. And secondly is the cold. We have to really understand and watch every day, how we're going to breed our cattle, the time of year that we want our calves to hit the ground, because if they hit the ground in the fall or the winter, they probably won't survive. And then the country that we're in, as you can see in our tour today, it's not flat ground.
Very rocky.
It's very rocky. It's very up and down. And for us, we came out here on the ATVs today. But normally we work in this country off of horses. It's more efficient. Some of the other challenges that we face, of course, is invasive species. Up here we have what is known as the gorse, and it's a noxious weed, and it basically takes over all of your grazing lands if you don't stay on top of it. You'll never get rid of gorse. The seeds of a gorse tree will sit latent in the ground for 60 to 70 years.
Wow.
and then all of a sudden, once you scarify that ground, it'll just pop up and grow. So we try not to do too much herbicide up here. We try to be more of a holistic operation up here. We're trying to take this problem with the gorse and see how we can turn it into purposeful use. So we're working with some different folks, Hawaiians. You know, the person that comes to mind right now is Hawaii Biocarbon. We're trying to see how we can take this gorse and turn it into not only maybe feed for cattle, but also turning it back into biodiesel where we can use it for different purposes, water filtration, land reinternment, as well as using the gorse for, you know, people who have, like dialysis patients. You know, they have diabetes, you can use that to for filtering blood in dialysis patients. You know, our ranch and farm, we're trying to look at ways, not so much to diversify, but just how we can keep this mountain alive. For us, at the end of the day, is to provide, you know, quality meat for our people and sustain them in with that type of a protein.
Yeah. So where can we find your beef and your produce?
Well, up until now, majority of our beef basically got shipped out to California and a couple places in the Northwest. But we're finding out more now, especially with us dealing with this pandemic. We're starting to see that the shipping doesn't continue like it has been. Your program, Pā'ina by Ocean, has set up a platform for us small guys like me, and we're only a couple hundred cows, and that's significantly small compared to your bigger producers like Parker Ranch, Pu'uhuluhulu Ranch. For us, we haven't really had a way to market our beef other than having some specialized kills that we could share, do fundraisers with. But now we have this platform with Pā'ina by Ocean that we can share what we do and provide, you know, our beef protein to your market.
My day at Pu'uhuluhulu Ranch was not only fun, but super enlightening. Uncle Rich is such a smart guy, and his love for ranching and caring for the land is obvious. Before leaving, I had to ask just one more question about the future of our local ranching on the Big Island and what advice he can give to my generation.
At Pu'uhuluhulu Ranch and Farm, that we can join, you know, with other sustainable farmers and ranchers. First and foremost, to keep the food security in Hawaii. You know, reduce our food miles, that we're not shipping so much of our commodity off. You know, to keep it right here on islands, to make it affordable. You know, and then I think we need to do that by incorporating the young farmer, the young producer. So there's programs out there like 4-H that my son is involved in. You know, there's college courses. You know, we just have to be able to share this experience like we did with you today, so we can have that knowledge base out there. So it's not just, you know, people imagining
What it's like.
They can see it firsthand and they can make a true assessment and a true judgment of what we do and how hard it is. You know, it's a tough life, you know, but you gotta love what you do and you gotta think about the future. Because if we're not thinking about the future of raising cattle in the islands and the land that provides that, that's the platform for raising cattle, is the land. So the two go hand in hand. When we taking care of the land, it in turn takes care of our cattle. When we take care of our cattle, it in turn provides, you know, for us our food security.
So thank you, Uncle, for having us, and now let's go have some fun on the ranch.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. Remember to support your local ranchers. Mahalo to Uncle Richard and the entire Kaniho family. Thank you to Double D Ranch of Hamakua for their assistance in processing this week's Pā'ina beef. These ranchers prove that sustainability isn't just a word, it's an action.